Hi everyone. Today we'll discuss social movements in our times. This is a very important topic for your examination point of view. So just I'll read out, take the notes that will be good enough for you. Okay, let me start the topic. We'll discuss about the right-based protest for the equal rights. We'll discuss about the environmental protests. Okay, so in order to protect the nature, we'll discuss about the movements for the democracy and they are changed in the society in many ways. So the contemporary, the present social movements. So the social movements are organized groups, efforts by citizens to bring change in law, society, and government policy. So right based, and environmental based, then grassroots. So right based means demanding for equality, dignity, and civil rights for the people. Then environmental. So in order to protect the nature, our ecosystem, and sustainable development for the future generation. Then grassroots, like common people bring changes from the grounded up. Okay, so first we'll discuss about the civil rights movements. So it is a African American fought against racial segregation and discrimination through non-violent civil disobedience led by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Okay, so you have to remember the civil rights movement. It is a fight against African American, so against the racial differences, discrimination. Okay, so this particular protest done non-violently with the civil obedience and which is led by the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. So what is the key achievements? Okay, the Civil Rights Act 1964 ended unfair treatment based on race, color, region, religion, and national origin. Then core method. What methods they have followed? They use peaceful protests, sit-ins, and marches. They are based on Gandhian and non-violence. So if you want to take screenshot of this, you can take the same. Then we'll discuss. There is a global like environmental protest. It is happening from 1971 to till now. So this in this 28th century, people started caring about the environment. So they wanted to protect the planet. So one is anti-nuclear action. So the Greenpeace took direct action against nuclear testing. Its ships sailed into the test areas to protest. Then ocean protest. So campaigning were led protest ocean life and its underwater ecosystem from industrial and military harm. Then global consciousness. So Greenpeace made environmental issues worldwide concern. So these are the environmental protest. Okay. Then the Bhopal Gas Disaster. Okay. So which is happened in India in 1984. A gas leak happened at the Union Carbide plant in Bhopal in Madhya Pradesh. It killed thousands of people and caused long-term health issues in many more. So, what is the like catastrophic impact? It is badly affect the public health and environment. It is one of the world's worst disasters. Then grassroots struggle. So survivor asked for the corporate accountability. They wanted compensation for and rehabilitation for the Bhopal gas affected people. They continued the fight for justice for many years. This is the Bhopal gas disaster. Then one more thing, it is a Narmada Bachao Andolan. So it is examination point of view. You have to remember which is led by the Meira Patkar. Okay, so it is in Gujarat. The Save the Narmada movement started the support of Adivasi, that is the tribal community, farmers, activities. So they oppose the large dam project in Narmada River. What is the issue? So the issue is that the big dams could force many people to leave their homes. especially Adivasis and rural community. Then resistance, people held protests, hunger strikes, and legal fights to protect tribal lands and livelihood. The debate, so sustainable development is one side and mass displacement is the another side. This is an important question for everywhere. So in order to develop, so we have to develop as well as we have to conserve our planet. That is the thing. So Narmada, Bachao, Andolan. It is NBA. Okay. So then one more thing, the Manipur, India. So it is started in 1970 and till now it is going on. So Meira Paibi, it is a torch bearer of Manipur. Meira Paibi means torch bearer. So many times they asked, what is Meira Paibi? Means torch bearer. So they are women of Manipur who spoke up against human rights violation and social evils and military excesses. So this Meira Paibi, the torch bearer, so against the social evil, they fought against the drug abuse, alcoholism in families and communities. Then against state excesses, so they protested against the unfair arrest and abuse under the Armed Force Special Power Act. Armed Forces Special Powers Act, AFSPA. So many times they ask, you have to remember. Then so through this particular moment, simple women become strong against the change through group action. Meira Paibi, that means torch bearer, which is taking place in Manipur. Then human rights movements in USSR. So under the strict government control everything, Soviet citizens dissident risk jail to demand basic civil rights. So they fought for the individual liberties. People fought for the right to freedom of thought, expression, and movement. Then free speech. People are opposed the government used underground writing, that is samjdat, to share ideas, even the state sponsorship. Then civil right. So strong resistance helped the uh, final collapse the Soviet system. This is about the human rights movement which is happened between 1960s to 1991. Okay, so let us have when it is happened, where it is happened, what is the core demand. So if you want to have, you can take the screenshot or simply note down. So we'll discuss about the movement first. Okay, the movement here movement, region, year and period, code, demand. So civil rights movement which is taken place in USA America in the year 1954 to 1968. It is against the racial equality, inequality and civil rights. So they ask for the equal rights, especially racial, black and white, that is the thing, and civil rights act. So this is a core demand you have to remember. Then Greenpeace, so which is related to the globally, it is happened 1971 to till now. So these type of Greenpeace movement happen every day. So it is a environmental and anti-nuclear protection. Then one more thing, Bhopal Gas Disaster, so which is happened in India, Madhya Pradesh in 1964. So they demand for the corporate accountability and rehabilitation. Then Narmada Bachao Andolan, so it is in Gujarat, India. So 1985 to till now it is going on. It is a Adivasi rights sustainable development. Then Meira Paibi, okay, you have to remember, it is a Manipur, India. So it is started in 1972 till present. So women's rights against the state excess. Then USSR human rights, it is in the Soviet Union. Okay, so the period is 1960 to 1991. Free speech, individual liberties, etc. So this is a good thing. Take the screenshot and read it again and again and take the notes that will be helpful to you to clear your exams. So what we learn here, these movements different taken place across different places at different times. So we change the human rights and environment policy. So democracy got expanded, social movements give voice for the poor and the neglected. Then collective action, when people unite for one cause, they can change powerful groups. So the struggle continues. So rights and environmental justice are still going on, problems in the world. So these are key things. Okay, I hope go through this particular video. This will be helpful to you. So we'll meet with the next lecture. Thank you. All the best for your coming examination.